What's up, YouTube? We back with another video, and we're gonna come in with a high taper with a number 2 off top. First, we're gonna take everything down to the desired length, make sure everything's nice and even, and then we're gonna start our fade process. Alright, let's get into this neck taper. First, we're going to come in with our K2 trimmer, and we're just going to start our first guideline. And I'm starting it out kind of low with a little curve in it. That way it could get a nice definition to your taper. We're just going to ball out underneath, making sure you don't go any higher, just cleaning up everything underneath that bottom line. Now we're just gonna come in with the clipper open, and we're gonna start our neck guideline. I normally go up about 1 inch. That way you ensure that you get a softer blend. Sometimes when you go a little smaller than like a 1/2 inch or maybe less, you come out with a tight fade. So I go up about 1 inch and I just flick out to the next section. We're flicking into that bulk, just making sure we're making extra passes to get everything nice and even. Now we're gonna go clipper all the way closed, and we're gonna flick out at that bottom line. Normally I go clipper all the way open, then clipper closed, then clipper halfway. That'll give you a smooth blend into your next section. And I know y'all see the bulk, it's all crooked or whatnot. Don't get on me in the comments. But once I put the 1.5 guard on there, I'm gonna smooth all that out. I really didn't want to go up any higher with the clipper all the way open because I wanted to keep the fade right where it was. So when I put the 1.5 open and 1.5 closed, that's gonna smooth all that out. So don't be afraid. You see it's a little crooked, and you don't have to be perfect. Just make sure you're getting it nice and clean. As you can see right here, I'm coming in with my 1.5, and I'm just debulking the next section. I'm not fading. I'm not going with the one open. I'm not trying to blend out all that bulk. I'm trying to take the bulk down and then blend into the bulk. That way you get a nice smooth fade. And as I'm debulking, I'm not trying to create another line. I'm just going in, softening everything up. That way it makes it easier to fade into the bulk to make that transition smooth. And you guys gonna see once I get to the 1.5 open, it's gonna start smoothing out a lot. So as you go through your steps, the fade is gonna get smoother and smoother. You just gotta take your time and trust the process. Now y'all can see, as you debulking, the fade start coming out a lot smoother. Now this area is gonna be a lot easier to fade into. So now I got the 1.5, I'm closed all the way, but I'm going with the grain. That's just smoothing everything out, getting all the extras out the way, laying that hair down. And then our next step is gonna be to fade down. We going from the 1.5 to the 1 guard open, and we just gonna flick out at that bottom line. And you're gonna start to see your fade come to life right here. now I'm just gonna close up the lever, and we're just gonna continue flicking out at that bottom line. Now, of course, the one guard is not gonna get the bottom line out, so what you have to do is lighten up the area so your next step can be a lot easier. That's basically all you're doing. You following step by step, man. It's simple. You following step by step. And once I come, I normally skip the half guard and I go straight to the clipper open, and that saves me a little time. So whatever works for you, go with that. But for me, I skip the half guard and I normally just use my corners and flick out at that bottom line. See, like right now I'm using my corners. Man, that helps you pinpoint and be precise about where you're cutting. So make sure you're using them corners, man. And here we go with the clipper open, man. We're just flicking out all the dark spots, taking out any lines that we see. As you can see, I'm using my corners. Man, you gotta use them corners, man. That's what help you pinpoint. That's what help you be more precise. You gotta use them corners. If you try to use the whole blade in certain areas, you're gonna be cutting hair that you don't wanna cut or that's not supposed to be cut. So make sure you use them corners. And from here, man, the fade is basically done. So now all you're doing is you're going back and you're doing a little detail work. You're touching up all the dark spots you see. Just going over it, making sure everything is nice and clean. And I see some spots in here that I'm probably gonna go back and touch up with the one guard. So yeah, I'm going with the one guard close, and I'm just cleaning up everything above, making sure everything transition nice and smooth. And now we're just gonna move on to the side taper. We're gonna start from the bottom of the vertical bar with a slight curve, and we're gonna end it right above the top of the ear. And we're gonna clean everything under the bottom. I do not use the shavers to bald out because most of my clients are gonna bump up and it's gonna irritate them, so I don't use the shavers. And plus these get real close, so I don't need the shavers anyway. But then we're gonna come in with the clipper all the way open, and we're gonna start our next guideline, which is the primary section. And we're gonna flick out until we get a nice clean section. And I know y'all see me switch from the comb to the brush, but that's only because the back had a lot more bulk and I could comb through and separate the hair. On the side taper, I like to use my brush because I want the hair to lay in the place that I need it to lay so I can give it a good clean cut. And you can do the same with the comb. It's just that I prefer to brush on the sides, especially when the hair is much lower, so I don't have to separate the hair. And now we're just gonna go in with the one guard open to debulk this section. And I know I debulked the back with the 1.5, but this area of his head is not as dense as the back. So we just gonna use the one guard open, and we're gonna come in with the 1.5 on top of that to ensure a smooth transition into the weight of the hair. And here we go with the 1.5 open. We're just gonna go in on top of the one guard open, and we're just gonna clean everything on top, just making sure we get a smooth transition. And as y'all can see, man, if you following your system step by step, the fade comes out smoother and smoother with each step. And now we're just gonna come in with the clipper open, and we're just gonna clean up everything underneath that one guard. And I'm just using my corners, pinpointing where I wanna cut and what needs to be cut. And I always flip my clipper over, and I use the rake method just to, lay the hair down real nice and smooth. As you can see, it's coming out smooth, It's coming out a lot smooth. If the hair is standing up, it's gonna cut. Everything else is gonna lay it down into position so it gets a smooth fade. And I'm basically just cleaning up everything. And just remember, man, the same rules apply for the other side. And I'm not gonna talk too much. I don't wanna sound like a broken record, so I'm gonna just let y'all watch as I do this other side. now we're just gonna go in and start prepping for that lineup. And we're gonna take the edge of the hair down slightly lower than the actual haircut. So I went with a 2 on top, so we're going with a 1.5 open around the edge up. Just so we can get all those long bulky hairs out of the way, so when we come in with the trimmer, it won't be no problem. So it's gonna have a crisp lineup every time. Ooh, man, man. Look at that taper, man. That thing clean. That taper clean. But yeah, man, we gonna continue taking it down around the lineup, just making sure everything is nice and laid down. And when we come in with our trimmer, man, that lineup just gonna pop. The lineup just gonna pop, man. Just, trust the process, man. Go through your system step by step. The better you know your system, the better your cut come out. Look at that, one hit. These some hitters though. Shout out to Babyliss, man. I got the rose gold blade on that. They 0 gap. They're not modified, but they are 0 gap. I got some hitters right here, man. And the same thing for the other side, man. Just brushing everything down, making sure it's laying down. So when you hit that, look at that. Man, look at that. Man, I got some hitters right here, though. Yeah, these some hitters. But we're not pushing the climb in. We're not over-exaggerating the curve around the ear. We're trying to keep everything as natural as possible. Man, for the front lineup, I did go in off camera and I used some alcohol just to dry the skin out, to prep the skin and prep the hair for a nice clean lineup. And as y'all can see, I'm not pushing the client back. Even though his lineup is a little light on one side, I'm not pushing it in to make sure he get the sharpest lineup. That's not what we're about. The haircut is going to be clean. The lineup is going to be fresh. We're not pushing the clients in so they can get a clean, sharp lineup. It's going to be sharp regardless. You just got to go in and make sure you do your prep work. Make sure you do your prep work, man. And I didn't use any holding spray on this cut. Sometimes I just feel like the holding spray leaves a little bit too much shine. So sometimes I don't use it. It just depends on the client. But I did use enhancements on this cut. I didn't use a lot. It doesn't take a lot. As you can see, the lineup is already sharp before. I just used a little bit just to make it pop. And I see some spots in this tape I'm gonna go touch up in a little bit. And right here, man, we just coming in with the razor, man. This is how you enhance your cut before you enhance your cut, if that makes sense. But we just coming in with the razor, man. We cleaning up all the stubble. We getting all the hangovers around the edge up. And we just making sure it's nice and clean, man. Even if your client say, look, I don't want any enhancement, this is how you enhance his cut. But we will go in with a little bit of enhancements on his cut. This is my son. These young kids, they like to have it, nice and, popping. So they want everything sharp. But like I said, man, you just got to trust your process, man. You got to go through the steps. You got to work your system. That's going to ensure you to get better and better every time. Now, work a system that's best for you. I'm not saying what I'm doing is completely best for you. I'm not saying what the next barber is doing is completely best for you. But you have to take from each and every person to see what best fits your style. And you just gotta grind it out. You just gotta grind it out, man. You just gotta keep pushing. You gotta keep working. It ain't gonna come overnight, but it ain't gonna come if you ain't working it. You gotta work the system, man. Man, I see a few dark spots in this tape I'm gonna go back and touch up. I'm gonna point them out. If you don't see them, those of you that do see them, I'm gonna point them out just so I can show y'all that lineup brings out a different view in your fade. Something that you couldn't see before. Once you put your lineup on it, you'll be able to see it. So I'm just going back and with my clipper open, using the corner, just touching up here and there. Just making sure, you know, the client is nice and fresh when he walk out the door. And this the cut. Finished product, man. High taper, 2 on top, light enhancements. Man, y'all don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, share the video, man. Y'all come back for more, man. We got more. We got a lot more, man. Y'all stick with me. We're gonna grow together. Y'all stay blessed. I'm out.